Terraria, but it's jungle only. This video, the goal is to defeat Eye of Cthulhu, and I only have one rule, and that is I cannot collect items from any biome outside the jungle biome. I can go to other biomes, but if I pick something up there, I have to trash it unless it's necessary for progression. Without further ado, let's get into the challenge. In the world creation settings, I made a large world to try and make the jungle larger, its expert mode, and random corruption. As you can see, I got quite lucky with the world generation. The crimson generated right next to the jungle, meaning it could spread once it reaches hard mode. But the other great thing is, as you can see right here, the shimmer generated inside of the jungle, meaning it's fair game for this challenge. This isn't quite as big for Eye of Cthulhu, but later on, this will be massive for this challenge. I loaded into the world, and of course, I spawned in the center of the world in a forest biome. I tried running all the way over to the jungle, but quickly gave up because it would take quite a while and I needed to set my spawn point. So I left, turned on here as a mod, teleported twice, set the world spawn to a random place in the middle of the jungle, and began the challenge. I started as many playthroughs and chopped down some trees. I also quickly got jumped by a jungle bat for the first of many deaths in this challenge, which I'll show you all of them. Had 2 more quick deaths before escaping, but I was still being chased by this jungle slime, and I knew I would need gel later on to make NPC houses. So I trapped the slime in a small box made of wood and mud. I experimented by making some different types of holes so I could hit the slime through it with my short sword, and eventually came up with this design and killed the slime. There were 2 more slimes outside of the box chasing me, so I trapped and killed them next for extra gel. This design made it pretty safe to kill them, though it still did take quite a while due to the weakness of a copper short sword. It was getting pretty close to night, and I was surrounded by some slimes and bats, so I decided to dig down here to set up my main base for this challenge, and also built my first NPC house. I had magic storage turned on, so I had the guide NPC for that mod, which was taking up a house, so I turned it off later. I probably should have done this earlier in the challenge or before starting, but I checked the wiki to make sure that NPCs can move into houses in the jungle. The wiki didn't specifically say they can, but there was this section on NPC happiness, which I figured if NPCs can be happy in the jungle, then they could move into the jungle. If not, this challenge would have been much harder. After that short wiki break, I had an idea on how I could get wood, since I was running low on it and it was nighttime, so it wasn't safe. I tunneled 1 block under the surface and was able to chop down trees and collect the wood without having to go to the surface. I used this strategy to get enough wood to build some more houses and even collected some falling stars. This is when another challenge of the run became apparent. Jungle trees don't drop acorns. They randomly grow occasionally, but it's pretty rare and I can't manually plant them without some weird techniques. But I did eventually build a wood farm later in the challenge. I made a mana stars, built a second NPC house, and it's here where I started digging the tunnel that I would be using for most of the challenge. I found some pots, tin, and iron. Moving deeper into the caves, I fought a slime off and found this chest with a radar in it. The best part about this chest though is the 87 wood. I equipped the radar for the plus 2% crit chance, mined some more, got my 4th death, and stayed home. I built 2 more houses hoping the merchant would move in, and he did, so I had to head in the caves so he could teleport to his new house. And I bought 2 items that might seem useless but are very useful for this challenge. First is a bug net for catching critters to sell, since most critters sell for 2 to 15 silver each, making a great money farm here in the jungle. Plus I could catch bait for fishing later on. The other is a little different from what most people would buy, the sickle. I bought this for 2 reasons. The first one is pretty simple. It's a decent melee weapon for this early on. The second reason is since I can't get a ton of wood easily in the jungle, I can use the sickle to quickly farm hundreds of building blocks for walls and background walls for houses, saving me wood, which I'm beginning to run low on. This may have not been the best purchase. I could have saved up for a piggy bank, especially this early on, but it definitely helped with the challenge quite a lot. When testing both of them out, I found a mystic frog, which I didn't know until editing, but it cannot be caught. Instead, you're supposed to throw purification powder on it, and it will turn into a town slime. I should have looked this up at this point in the challenge, because I tried catching these a few times during the challenge. I was able to test the sickle out as a weapon as I got attacked by a demon eye and some zombies, and it worked pretty well, considering it's a true melee weapon that can be bought from the merchant for super cheap. Took out these two slime zombies, and it was doing pretty well as a weapon, and I was collecting plenty of blocks to build houses with. It sadly didn't do quite as well against this zombie, as it was able to take me down for my 5th death. At this point, I decided to explore the surface a little bit, and this was definitely a mistake as I picked up a few more deaths here. After that trip and a quick wiki trip, I made some buckets to make my first farm of the challenge. I accidentally crafted too many, but I was able to use an infinite water bug to make a bamboo farm. If you make a row of water that's at least 1 block deep, I made mine about 1.5 blocks deep, then bamboo has a chance to grow in it, and bamboo is the same as wood, making it great to build NPC houses, and this will just grow naturally throughout the challenge since I'm in the jungle. Little did I know, I wouldn't harvest this more than a few times during the entire challenge. I then sold a couple critters that I had collected during my adventures and building the farm, and for the first time in this challenge, things were starting to look good. I had a few NPCs, a safe base, and a short tunnel for mining. I also had the most money of the challenge so far, and now a piggy bank. I made this little ledge for the piggy bank since I was tired of losing so much gold every time I died. I started back on the elevator with the goal to reach the shimmer and find enough ores to get some armor and tools. I had a pretty unsuccessful mining trip where all I did was bring the death count up by quite a lot. Then I went home and built 2 more NPC houses. When I got back, I also bought some rope from the merchant to put on the elevator to make it much easier to go up and down, since right now I was using climbing claws to slowly come up and down it, which was dangerous and very slow. I got the death count up to 20 and found 2 chests that didn't really have much in it. After a while of mining and dying, I eventually saw that the traveling merchant arrived, and when I came up to the surface, they had nothing good. I crafted a gold helmet and a tungsten pickaxe, then found my first few life crystals of the video. Also found a cloud in the bottle, which is very useful for movement. The best loot I found though was from this chest, which had a magic mirror so I could head home a lot easier, and a suspicious looking eye for spawning Eye of Cthulhu. Even better, right next to me was the shimmer. I waited to go into the shimmer until I had all the items I wanted to shimmer with me. I headed home and decided it was finally time to organize my storage system. This is where magic storage would have come in handy, but due to the cost of making the storage systems, I would have used it anyways. Instead, I used chests that I had collected underground. I found this dead man's chest, but there were a bunch of enemies guarding it, so I removed the boulders and decided to make a run for it. I dropped down, quickly opened the chest, and hit loot all and surprisingly survived. This wasn't really worth it though, since the chest didn't have anything great. I found another dead man's chest right next to it, but it was able to fully disarm this one before collecting the stuff. I'd found another magic mirror which I was planning on shimmering since it's the only way to get glass in the jungle. So when I head back, I grabbed all the items I wanted to shimmer and went to the shimmer, but it was being guarded by a ton of enemies and I knew I couldn't take them on. So I waited for an opportunity and made a dash for the shimmer, then boxed myself up and tossed my items in safely. When I was trying to expand the box though, some slimes broke in for death number 30. I head back to the bottom of the world to go mining and found this beehive, which will come in handy later. Once I respawned, I geared up with a new hook, a gold pickaxe, axe and bow, and an emerald staff, which was my first real weapon of the challenge. Then I crafted some new armor and a fishing rod and decided to make a fishing pond to get new items. I cleared out an area right above the NPC houses to make the pond and used the water glitch from earlier to fill it up with a bunch of water. Took a few breaks while building to go grab fallen stars and critters that kept spawning to use them as bait. I'm so glad this glitch is in the game, as this would have taken quite a while to fill all of this up if I had to constantly go back and forth and refill my buckets. Instead, I was able to zip through making it in a few minutes. I also got lucky that I didn't get attacked by many enemies despite it being nighttime, though when I started to fish I did get jumped by a few bats. So I built a small box where I could safely fish even at night. After building the box, I started to fish for quite a while, taking breaks every once in a while to expand the box or collect critters that I saw on the edges of my screen. The fish aren't super useful since many of the potions I can't craft without herbs, but the best thing that I got from this fishing trip was I got a wood crate, and once I opened it, I got an extractinator. There's no other way to get an extractinator in the jungle, so I got super lucky here, is now I could put silt through it, which I had over 400 of, to get tons of gems, ores, and even coins. This fishing pond was definitely worth it just for this extractinator. I fished for a while more, didn't really get much from the other crates, and then I decided to go back to mining. After a decent mining trip, I had over 500 silt to put through my new extractinator. I got tons more ores and gems, plus some gold coins, which was really good. I went back to mining and found a few lava pools that I cleared out for obsidian, though I cannot collect hellstone unless it's inside of the jungle biome, so this probably wasn't a great use of time. Sadly fell into the lava after mining the obsidian and died. After getting back though, I made a set of some jungle armor minus the chest plate, but as I was heading back to the mines, I got a message. The Eye of Cthulhu was going to spawn. I quickly teleported back up to the surface to set up a small arena with some bamboo and wood platforms. This was earlier than I was hoping, since I was actually heading back into the mine to collect resources for the last piece of my jungle armor and a blade of grass. I grabbed some potions, but before I could grab everything I wanted, the eye spawned and all I had was an iron skin potion. I'd completely forgotten about my golden bow, which was probably my best weapon when combined with my jester arrows I'd collected, but instead I used my emerald staff for most all of the fight. If it weren't for the servants of Cthulhu's, which are the small eyes that the eye spawns, I wouldn't have been able to keep shooting, but luckily they dropped mana stars, allowing me to shoot for nearly the entire fight without having to stop. Here I got super lucky as a fallen star hit the eye, dealing around 800 damage, and I finally defeated the Eye of Cthulhu. But that's not all I wanted for this challenge. I don't want to just beat the eye once because of a lucky star. I want to destroy the eye every time, so I went back to collect items for the last piece of the jungle armor and a blade of grass to destroy the eye and hopefully take out Queen Bee as well. So it was back to the mine to collect items, and I soon came up for a blade of grass since I had enough resources, but I went back down in the caves to collect enough resources for the chest plate. Also found a bunch of chests, and I looted them until my inventory was completely full when I finally teleported home. After a while of fighting and mining, I finally had enough for not only the jungle chest plate, but also a chakram boomerang. This is also one of the only times in the entire challenge that I collected my bamboo farm. I decided to extend my platform a bit more and use some of the suspicious looking eyes I had from earlier to refight the Eye of Cthulhu with. The fight was much easier with my upgrade armor and weapons, and I was able to nearly tank the eye when only using an iron skin potion. I went and crafted a bunch of crimtane bars with the resources I've gotten from the eyes. I sadly can't make a Deathbringer pickaxe since the brain is a crimson boss, but I did craft a new axe and fishing rod. Then I decided to go back and fight Eye a couple more times just to get resources, and since I could sell the shields for tons of gold. I sold all the shields for tons of gold, which isn't useful for now. Then I decide it's finally time to go and try to fight Queen Bee. I didn't expect the fight to go too well, but I didn't think it would go this bad. I had to switch accessories mid-fight because I had forgotten to change them and I didn't even bring potions. After a little while in the fight, I ended up getting too low on health and I never put my gold away in my piggy bank. I ended up teleporting home to avoid dying, but the queen bee actually chased me all the way there. If you liked what you saw in this video and want to see me beat the entire game with this horrible challenge and push the game to its limits, like, subscribe, and comment down below. If this video reaches 100 likes, I'll make more parts and eventually beat the game. This video took 4.5 hours just to record to defeat the Eye of Cthulhu, and after timing it up, I spent nearly 9 minutes on the respawn screen in this entire video. It took hours to edit, record, script, so if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, like, share the video, and comment down below as it seriously helps me out. If you want some more videos similar to this, the link on the bottom left are underrated and overrated Terraria items. The bottom right are 2 truths and a lie in Terraria. The top left is what YouTube thinks you want to watch next. The top right's the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more.